What is up, everybody, and welcome to another video. And in today's video I have something very exciting. Oh yes, this is my beautiful Blurple Tsunami, but it has received some major updates. So I recently sent this guy off. Oh, that's a loud car. I recently sent this guy off to get some love by Andrew Myers, or AMKW, on Instagram, and man, it turned out better than I could have imagined. I am so happy about this thing. Modding is a very interesting and somewhat contentious topic sometimes in the balisong community, and good modders are not few and far between, but really reliable good modders can be. And Andrew Myers, I think, is somebody with a track record that really speaks for itself. And this is just a great example of that being the case. He did a fantastic job with this balisong. I mean, we'll go over everything that he did to it in just a second, but it turned out so good. It looks so freaking beautiful. I can't even believe the way the anodization looks on this thing. Like, I've seen Blurple before, but this is like the amount of iridescence as to, like, depending on the light, it looks like it's either completely blue or completely purple, and that is just insane to me. Like, I think it is genuinely gorgeous. So I really like this thing. I really like the way it's turned out. But yeah, Andrew Myers is a fantastic guy, really easy to work with, has got a very good system for booking his modding applications and stuff like that. So, you know, you can honestly fully suggested from me. I'm quite impressed. So what I got done on this guy is, first of all, I got the anodization refinished, and that was kind of the main thing I really wanted done. I bought this thing when it had a beautiful Blurple anodization from the factory, and I really wanted to kind of go back to the way it looked when it was factory new. And as a matter of fact, I would say that he did even better than how it looked factory new, so that's pretty exciting. But yeah, I wanted that beautiful Blurple again, and I certainly received that and more. On top of that, I had him polish the handles, so the handles now have this beautiful high sheen polish on them, which I think looks just totally insane. It's really beautiful. It lets the handles just shine, and I think it really shows off the Blurple anodization in a way that's really nice. So I had him polish the handles and then add this anodization, and something that I didn't realize would happen, but is both a downgrade and an upgrade in my opinion. The polishing did change the texture of the handles, which I should have expected. I mean, obviously you're literally polishing them, but it did make the handles softer all around and kind of reduced a lot of the texture that I do really like on the Tsunami. So it did make it like slightly less textured than I was sort of wanting. But now that I've flipped it for a while, because I've had this for a bit now, I actually have come to really enjoy the feeling of this polished texture. So it wasn't exactly what I was expecting when I got it back, but it has really turned out to be like everything I could have asked for, honestly. It is really nice, this beautiful polished texture. It just feels really soft in my hands. Like, everything about it, you still have the texture of like the machining on the faces, you know, you can still feel that. It's maybe slightly less apparent than it was before, but that hasn't changed a lot. What's really changed is the feeling on the sides of the handles, where, like, not the actual sides, but like this part in the middle, the transition between the front and the side, that is where I've noticed the largest difference in terms of feel. There used to be sort of a like sharper angle to that area, and that has been reduced to a more like rolled over, you know, softer feeling. And I think now that I've been flipping it for as long as I have, it feels honestly kind of fantastic. So I'm really a big fan of that. I think he also potentially repolished the hardware, because the hardware looks brand spanking new, so that's very cool of him if it did happen. I didn't even ask him to do that, but it looks better than it did when I sent it to him, so I'm assuming something happened there. He did offer to refinish the blade as well, but honestly, I like the way the blade is, so I didn't have him do that, even though it does have a little, like, mark on it, right in there. There's a few marks on it, but I was like, honestly, I am totally fine with those tiny little scuffs. I'm gonna be dropping this thing anyways, so, like, you know, it'll get more beat up eventually. So I wanted to keep the look of the original blade, but the handles, man, they turned out fantastic. The other thing that is a really cool detail, is, check this out. I got a laser etching done on the sides. So there's this beautiful, it's called like a Sig-Hai pattern or like a Seng-Hai or something. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's this beautiful, like, you know, basically Wi-Fi looking pattern. I've seen it done on a number of Tsunamis before, and I really wanted something like that, and we went back and forth as to how we were going to do it. We were going to do it either, you know, over the anodization or under the anodization, and we ended up going with under the anodization, and I think that was a good call, because it's really subtle. You know, you can barely tell that it's there when you're, like, using it, but then when you look, you see this really, really slick, really, really subtle anodization pattern in the anodization, and I think it just looks freaking amazing. So yeah, really, really happy with how this thing turned out. It flips utterly fantastically still, just like it did when I sent it off, so I'm very happy about that. I did have to do a little bit of retuning when I received it. It needed, like, a little bit of Loctite love. I didn't actually have to do anything, like, I cleaned out the pivots because the safe handle was being a little bit weird. But after I cleaned out the pivots and gave it some Loctite, which what was happening is as I was flipping it, the, like, screws were becoming loose faster than normal, and I think that just kind of comes with the territory of having the screws cleaned, because once they've been cleaned and all the stuff that's, you know, kind of gunking them up and holding them in there is gone, they unscrew more easily. So I did have to take it apart and Loctite it, but once it's been Loctited, now it flips freaking incredibly and doesn't come loose at all. So I just had to not flip it for like 2 days while that set. Which worked out great because I went on a trip, and so I didn't even have access to it for the time in between, so it didn't even feel like I needed to flip it, and then I come home to a nicely tuned and Loctited balisong. Funny how that works. But yeah, very, very happy about this thing. I mean, it just is incredible. It looks incredible. It feels incredible to flip. As I said, that change in texture initially was like kind of a shock to me, and now it's honestly fantastic. This thing feels just like buttery smooth in my hands. It's amazing how well I can really, like, feel this thing. I don't know. I really, really like the flipping experience that I have been given here through this balisong now that it's been modded. So thank you very much, Andrew, for this incredible work. I genuinely exceeded my expectations beyond all reason. I was saying when I first got it to him, or when I first got it from him, that I was like, man, the anodization is, like, really pretty, but it's more blue than I was thinking it would be. And then I took it outside, and then it was more purple than I was thinking it would be. And then I was like, oh my god, this, like, at first I was like, oh, it's kind of like a very blue blurple, which is too bad because I really like a purple, but then I started, like, bringing it to different places and trying it in different lighting conditions, and it literally would change color right before my eyes, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the most impressive blurple color I have seen on probably any balisong. It is just baffling to look at. So yeah, very happy about this thing. This is kind of a shorter one today, but man, I just absolutely adore this thing. I love dropping it everywhere. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the moment. So anyways, I'll see y'all later. Peace.